watching the news at 2 p.m. I'm Suesha Sound, joining you on the broadcast, even as we continue to get you all the latest updates from the Ukraine-Russia border and what the ground situation really is like. Joining me on the broadcast is Irina Matviushin. She's a journalist covering peace and war, and she is live with us. Irina, if I can straight away get a sense of what the ground situation is like, where is it that you're joining us from? And if you could pan your camera to show us what is happening.
Right now, I'm in Kiev. It's one of the districts which is on the left bank, further from the city center. Life goes on as normal. People just carry on with their daily tasks, and it seems like nothing is happening. Nobody is running, nobody is fleeing Kiev, as maybe some foreigners would like to think. But for us, the task is to be ready and be prepared, but to stay calm. So that's pretty much the atmosphere here. As you can see, like maybe here, like people just live their normal life, and they hope for better. Of course, they are anxious and maybe worried that something can happen, but we have no choice. We just have to resist, stay here and resist.
In the meanwhile, Irina, what are you picking up from your sources of how the situation is really building up? Because I also am accessing reports that say that satellite images have revealed that there is massive Russian forces buildup near Ukraine, and also of Crimea, Belarus, and Western Russia that reveal a number of significant new military developments. So troop mobilization and how it is building up, what are you learning?
Can you please repeat the last sentence? Your question?
Give us a sense, Irina, of the troop mobilization and how the situation is building up, because I also access reports that say that satellite images that are revealing massive Russian forces build up near Ukraine.
Yeah. Well, we've been living with this news for more than a month already. And if you take the beginning of the escalation, it's been since November, basically. And I should note that the war is nothing new to us. We've been living with in war, in Russia's war since 2014. So people have already some sense of this inner resistance. They know that everything depends on them and not on the US or Western powers. So basically right now we are aware of the situation, but we know that Ukraine has to stay strong. We have no choice, no other choice than be prepared. And that's what you can see by the drills that are going on in Kherson region in the south, and as well as in eastern region of Kharkiv, in the north as well. Yesterday, our president visited Kherson, and he was observing the drills. That's kind of like a statement that Ukraine is preparing and Ukraine is ready to resist.
Irina, also tell us, given what you're watching on the ground, is there a threat of invasion, and how long to wait? Because there is a clear warning, I understand, of evacuations and fear of refugee crisis. So what is it that you're picking up?
As for now, there are no any orders to evacuate in Kiev. People, as I just said, people just live their normal life. Of course, some people try to leave in advance, especially those who have connections in the West or who have family in the West. Maybe they would move right now before anything happens. But we are not sure what exactly will happen and whether anything will happen. We know that Russia is waging a hybrid war against Ukraine, and information is a big part of that. So we are aware that some information attacks are aimed at causing panic and distress here. So maybe that's why people are relevantly calm. Regarding IDPs, we've already had over 1.5 million IDPs who were officially registered. As for now, there are no new IDPs, but if the situation escalates, of course, we'll have millions of Ukrainians fleeing to the West and maybe to Poland and other European countries. So it would be like a huge disaster for the EU. It would be a much higher number maybe than with refugees from Syria or other Middle Eastern countries.
Oh, yes, it could be. And to that, I really want to understand from you what the Ukrainian government is saying, given that you say that right now the situation is relatively calm.
Well, yesterday, the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, said that there are no reasons to panic, that Ukraine is prepared, and no part of Ukrainian land will be given to Russia. He gave some really reassuring message that everyone should stay calm. And he noted that all the news about the escalation and the invasion are causing unnecessary panic. So we really want to trust him. A lot of people don't. So they are getting more cautious and ready, joining territorial defense or some kind of military trainings. But a lot of people have the same kind of sense of calmness.
And, Irina, even as the world is viewing every single update coming in on this situation, really to understand from you what the neighboring countries are feeling like and how secure are the border towns?
You're meaning how do they react to the situation?
Yes, in terms of how they're preparing, what they are preempting, and how secure are the border towns, Irina?
The border towns. Well, the most fragile border is, of course, in the east of Ukraine and in the north with Belarus, because these borders are mostly unprotected. In Donbass, they are protected because there's war since 2013. So there's like a border with the army that's not that easy to break through. But if you take a little north from Kharkiv, for example, near Kharkiv, Sumy, which is very close to Russia, and all along the north border, it's unprotected. There are no walls, there are no trenches, nothing. I think recently they just put a wire along the Belarusian border to have some security, to introduce some security measure. Of course, that's not enough, but at least something. These are the most fragile regions, eastern, northern, and also from the sea, because Russia has occupied Crimea and now it's a military base. Basically, they moved troops there, and the border with Crimea is not safe either. And also they can enter from the sea. So Odessa and the southern regions are fragile as well. Regarding other countries like Poland, for now they are worried, but of course they can't do anything. Especially it's a western border, so it's relatively safe. Nobody believes that Russia would go there and provoke NATO, right? So we are talking mostly about eastern and northern, southern regions.
Irina, most reports suggest that Moscow is obviously stepping closer to Ukraine, and allies in the West are, of course, responding to that situation. But before I really come to you on the angle of the United States, also wanting to understand if the diplomacy route is working, has the scope to work, and what is being done on that front?
Well, as for now, Russia wants European countries to pressure Ukraine on Minsk agreements to agree on the autonomy of Donbass and to talk to Russian proxies, basically the self-proclaimed government which is backed by Russia. Ukraine is standing strong against it because that would mean to give up our sovereignty, and that would threaten the whole Ukraine, meaning that it would give Russia legacy and give Russia power to install its government or its political puppets here. So that's a red line for Ukraine. And as for now, the diplomatic talks with Ukraine has been tough because Ukraine does not agree on giving up Donbass and recognizing Donbass. We don't talk to them, and according to the Minsk agreements, we will not probably. And that's the most tense point because maybe some European countries would like to solve this conflict like this, but we know that's not the main issue, and Russia would use its power and use these diplomatic solutions in its benefits and ruin Ukraine.
And Irina, in the meanwhile, the United States has later said that Biden has dialed Putin over Ukraine and warning of swift, severe costs on Russia. Could this have any impact on the developments that are now underway?
And that's what our president says, that you should impose sanctions now to prevent the escalation. That's basically the only way to deter Russia, because their politics, Putin is very much connected. Oligarchs are very much connected with Russian politics, and they have a lot of assets in the EU. They have property in the EU. For them, like freezing these assets and locking them basically in Russia would be a disaster, because they are supporting Russian government, but at the same time they are using all the benefits of life in Western Europe. And to cut that benefit would maybe, I think, and we all think that it would deter Russia from escalation. And also, as we speak about sanctions, one of the candidates on this list is Putin himself. So we can imagine that he would not probably sacrifice all that he gained just for the sake of military intervention.
All right, Irina, I want to thank you for getting us all the updates on the ground situation. I also request you to be safe while you're reporting on this story. And of course, we'll keep coming back to you as the situation develops further. For the moment, thank you.